What strategies would you employ to ensure data infrastructure can scale with growing data volumes?
So obviously the foundation is the scalable architecture that you
Hmm.
establish. Like when you're establishing the foundation, thinking about it, how would I grow or shrink this to keep it cost effective with changing time, which is where things like cloud technologies are getting very popular because it allows you to not have these massive projects in terms of scaling. I've run projects where we had to add servers into our ecosystem to scale, and that's like a multi-month planning project and execution pretty quickly. And those are large projects. I think thinking about that is important. I feel like from an infrastructure perspective, thinking about coming down a little bit more lower level is thinking about partitioning things like sharding, partitioning, thinking of your engineering solutions, your processing, your data, like thinking about it as smaller, manageable units that you can scale more easily versus one monolithic thing that becomes very hard to scale. So the design part of it becomes very important when you're uh, thinking about infrastructure. The design aspect of that becomes important. Thinking of data as smaller chunks is important. Thinking about caching technologies is important. There are things that you
Hmm.
probably access more frequently than others, which is where it goes back to one of my points around understanding the access pattern is important, because once you access and you understand that this is what 99% of my users always access this information, then I can think from an infrastructure perspective, how can I make that
Hmm.
access more easy? Can I introduce a caching technology or something like that sort of plays into that space? So that's part of the scalability aspects. Load balancing or balancing the work across, like thinking about the infrastructure that you have, how can you load balance the work, actually grow horizontally where it makes sense, or vertically in some cases if
Hmm.
processing is more important. So that's important. And then just the foundations, right? Is are understanding the foundations are still there in terms of understanding the query, optimizing the query, understanding the data access pattern. That's not gone away, right? There are a lot of tools and technologies that make it easy, but that fundamental understanding of ultimately how that query is going to run and how can I optimize it is still relevant in my space,
Yeah.
in my mind, in terms of skills.
Okay. Interesting. And then moving on to the next question. So,